Oh, this one looks like a mouthful. Holy. Oh, okay. Come on, hit it.
All right. Wait, your turn, right?
I did rock one full.
Oh. Prop 20 restricts parole for certainly considered to be non-violent authorized felony sentences for certain offenses currently treated only as misdemeanor. Initiative statute limits access to parole program established for non-violent offenders who have completed the full term of their primary offense by eliminating eligibility for certain offenses. Fiscal impact increases in state and local correctional court and law enforcement costs, likely in tens of millions of dollars annually, depending on implementation. We vote yes. People who commit certain theft-related crimes, such as shoplifting, could receive increased penalties, such as longer jail terms. Additional factors would considered for the state's process in releasing certain inmates from prison early. Law enforcement will require to collect DNA samples from adults convicted of certain misdemeanors. No penalties for people who commit theft-related crimes would not be increased. There would be no change in the state's process for releasing certain inmates from prisons. Law enforcement would continue to require to collect DNA samples from adults only if they arrested for a felony or require registered sex offenders or arsonists. If you're pro, Prop 20 closes the loophole in the state in the law that now allows convicted child molesters, sexual predators, and other convicted of violent crimes to be released from prison early. Proposition 20 also expands DNA collection to help solve rape, murder, and other serious crimes and strengthen sanctions against habitual thieves who steal. Prop 20 is a prison spending scam. Wow. California already has severe and lengthy sentences, including life in prison for serious and violent crimes. Prison special interests who want to scare you into spending tens of millions in prisons, which could force draconian cuts to rehabilitation, schools, and mental health, homelessness. What do you think? What do you think?
Oh, I think for this one again, we need to do. I think I need to do more research on this one. But then it looks like if you vote yes, right? People who commit certain theft-related crimes could receive increased penalties, such as longer jail time. So it basically means if you vote yes, people get longer. So people get locked up for a longer period of time. That's kind of what I'm getting out of this. And Proposition 20 also expands DNA collection to help solve rape, murder, and other serious crimes. So that doesn't really make sense, right? Because so basically, if you vote yes, that means if you do these misdemeanor crimes, then you have to provide your DNA as well, samples. But then a rape is like a felony, right? It's not a misdemeanor crime. So I guess it sounds like they just want more people's fingerprints in the system for I guess tracking purposes. I don't know. This props. I'm kind of not really sure on this prop. It's not exactly too clear to me of what I would vote, but I'll probably vote. I don't know how to vote this one. I might just vote no because I'm not really too sure what this prop is advocating for. But it does say it's gonna cost millions of dollars annually. So I'm kind of on the fence on spending more money that we don't have. So I'm just gonna vote no on this one. All right, what about you, Kevin?
Yeah, I'm not too sure about it either because they're saying we already have a very stern conviction or stern laws for people who commit felonies or misdemeanors. But I also see, especially in the Bay Area, people are stealing, doing thefts, breaking into cars with and with without being caught, or
Immunity.
if they are being caught. Yeah, immunity. They just get a slap on the hand, and then they're released back out, and they do it again. So, I would like to see a more harsher law implied for those petty thefts, because it's happening
Way too
more
often.
frequent.
And
Yeah,
the
too
reason,
often.
the reason it's like that because they increase the threshold for which is like an actual crime, right? If it's like anything
Yeah.
less than like 950, it's like they're like it's not even a crime. It's like just go on your merry way. The thing is like
Yeah.
I don't think putting people in prison is the answer as well because like sometimes sometimes it's like you have a choice between going to prison or you living in the streets homeless. That's kind of like the options like some people see, right? And I think living in like prisons, I mean, I'm gonna get some flack for this, but I think it's kind of better than living on the streets, right? Because you get medical care, you get meals, and I'm not really sure what they even do in the prisons. Like, I mean, I'm sure there's levels to this, like like harsher crimes. They go to like different prison, which are have maybe they even restrict even more your freedom. I mean, if you go to jail, your freedom is restricted already, but I'm not really too sure. So again, I think our whole justice system needs a little reforming because I think going to jail is it's not really enough in some sense because if people are not afraid of going to jail, then what's the I guess
Answer.
no not no what's like the
Best.
what's that word what's the deterrent from people going to jail, right? Like because
Oh yeah.
people don't see going to jail as like a big deal. It's kind of like we need to make jail tougher. Then I don't think we should I don't think we want people to go to jail because it is a scam. I think the private prison system is like it's a scam because it's just they're making money off people locking people up. I think we want to encourage people to not want to go to jail. So
Yeah.
I think we need to reform the jail system where it's like you really don't want to go to jail. Like you really don't want to go to jail. But right now I feel like it's like a vacation for some. It's like, hey, I'm tired of these streets. I'm just gonna go to jail. I mean, that's just kind of my opinion. It is what it is. So yeah, so it looks like sounds like we're gonna both vote no on this because we're not exactly sure what this prop really is. All right, kind of almost done. Let's see, 21. Dude. It's gonna be a long video, guys. It's gonna be a long video, guys. 21. Expand local government authorities to enact rent control on residential property initiative statute. Allows local government to establish rent control on residential property over 15 years old. Local limits on rate increase may differ from statewide limit. Fiscal impact, overall potential reduction in state and local revenue in high tens of $millions per year. Depending on the actions by local communities, the revenue losses could be more or less. A yes means state law would allow cities, counties to apply more kinds of a rent control to more properties than under the current law. A no vote means state laws will remain current limits on rent control. Laws, cities, and counties can apply. So arguments, pros. Proposition 21 is a change we need to tackle homelessness. A yes vote on Proposition 21 is a vote to keep families in their homes. Okay, a no will make California housing crisis worse. Prop 21 undermines the strongest statewide rent control laws in the nation. Cost drop, reduce home values. Stops new housing from being built and eliminates homeowner protection while providing no protection for renters, seniors, veterans. So this is a no for me. I am a big advocate of no rent control because you can see in SF, rent control kind of destroys the freaking city, right? Rent control laws you can argue protects the renters, but I don't really agree. I think it actually just harms the homeowners because they have to go through like a long stance of legal battle just to get their home back. If a tenant refuses to leave your home, that's kind of like the main sell point of rent control is they trying to keep the tenants in the home, but you have to. I mean, I feel like I feel that I'm kind of on the fence on this one too, but I feel like I want more protection for the homeowners because we live in SF and we kind of see how the rent control laws affect like homeowners, right? So I think this is a no for me because I don't think rent control is the answer for solving homelessness because I think I think the issue of homelessness is there's not enough homes. We're not building enough homes. Like the supply is not meeting the demand, and and California is strategically doing this. They're strategically not building more new homes just so they can drive up the current home prices. Why is it all? Because we California, there's so much land to build on, right? Like even like the major cities, there's still a lot of room to build, but they're building it out really slow, and it's because they want to keep the home prices really high for the real estate investors who are investing in California. So I am not I am against rent control. So that's kind of like my vote. What about you, Calvin?
I agree. If the argument is to prevent homelessness, I don't think rent control is the answer as well. There are many factors that can lead to a person to um, be homeless, such as if they lost their job, if they have mental health issues, if they have other issues going on.
Ooh, can I ask something real quick?
What? Yeah,
Uh,
go ahead.
so like the notion that rent control will solve homelessness is kind of false. It's kind of like the reason rent control is bad is because we want to operate in a free market society, right? So if your rent is too high, no one's gonna rent it. That's kind of how it works, right? So if no one's renting your place, then you're gonna have to decrease your rent so into to a point where is willing to pay that rent to live at your home, right? Decreasing but putting rent control, you're kind of restricting the flow of the free market and you're just hurting the homeowner. And it's kind of like if you can't afford to live in a certain area, right? As bad as it sounds, maybe you should move out of there. Because like you can't be working at McDonald's and expect to be able to live in like San Francisco where like I think the average rent price for like a single bedroom was like $3,000 pre-COVID. It's kind of like it's not possible, right? Like you can't expect to live in SF working like a minimum wage job to be able to pay that rent. So it's kind of like it sounds bad, but it's kind of like you kind of have to live in an area where you can afford, and maybe that's kind of like you just can't afford to live in that city. If a lot of people, if there's a high demand to live in the city, even at these astronomical prices, that mean it's fair because there's demand for it, and there's limited supply because everybody wants to live in SF. But the problem with that stuff is rent control kind of like it kind of messed everything up. So the renting situation is like a lot of homeowners, they don't even like commercial building owners, they don't want to rent out the buildings because of rent control. So I think like 40% of the city's homes are not rented out because of rent control. So I think this actually hurts the economy and the revenue, for the cities because whoever like enact rent control, it's gonna hurt your city. So that's like another reason why I feel like it should just be like a free market thing. Like if you can afford to pay that rate, pay it, and if your prices are too high, you're gonna have to bring it down for it to meet market value. Oh, yeah, count.
Yeah, supply and demand. I mean, you hit the nail right in the middle. So,
And the coffee bill.
like coffee. So just to not reiterate what you said, but yeah, I agree. I'm an aspired homeowner in the future, so I want to own a home in the future. If I'm working hard, building up my finances to hopefully one day afford a home, and to just to have it, being taken advantage of.
Well, that's different though, Calvin. Being a homeowner and being being like a home a property owner is different. Because one is like one you're living in, one is like an investment property, right? So this kind of more towards like the investment properties.
Oh, I see.
Because this for like you're renting out your house, so that's kind of like you're treating it as an investment property, right?
Yeah. But yeah, so rent control makes it hard for any homeowner to operate and hopefully rent out a portion of their home to help out with the mortgage or et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a no for me.
All right, that was a fun one. Oh wait, so did I do the last one or did you? I forgot, dude. I did. I read the last.
It's my.
Yeah, it's your turn.
Yeah, it's my turn.
Oh, this is the one we were waiting for, dude.
All right. Here's the main event. Prop 22 exempt app-based transportation and delivery companies from providing employee benefits to certain drivers. Initiative statute. So basically, classified app-based drivers as independent contractors instead of employees, provides independent contractor drivers other compensations unless certain criteria is met. Fiscal impact: minor increase in state income taxes paid by rideshare and delivery company drivers and investors. If you vote yes, app-based rideshare and delivery companies could hire drivers as independent coworkers. Drivers could decide when, where, and how much to work, but would not get standard benefits and protection that businesses must provide employees. If you vote no, app-based rideshares and delivery companies would have to hire drivers as employees if they count. If the courts say that a recent state law makes drivers employees, drivers would have less choice about when, where, and how much to work, but would get standard benefits protection that businesses must provide employees. If you're pro, app-based drivers choice to pay independent contractors by 4-to-1 margin. Drivers support independence, saves ride shares, delivery services, hundreds of thousands of jobs, provides drivers new benefits, earnings guarantees, strengthens public safety, endorsed by overwhelming majority of drivers, community, public safety, and small business groups. If you're no, if you're con, stops billion-dollar app companies like Uber, Lyft, and DoorDash from writing their own exemption to California law and profiting from it. 22 denies their drivers rights and safety protections they deserve. Sick leave, healthcare, unemployment. Companies profit, exploit drivers, loses rights and protections. Vote no. All right, what do you think? What do you think? We made a video about it, right?
Oh man, so okay, so for this one, it's kind of weird to me because so yes means you make them you keep them as like contractors, and no means you make them as an employee. I think my friend told me he told me yesterday actually that there are full-time Lyft drivers that they do get benefits. I'm not sure if that's actually true or not, but I think that could be the answer though. It could be so people who don't want to be full-time employees because they like the flexibility, right? But then there's also people who they want to be full-time employees because they want the benefits. So I think it really comes down to one, is it feasible? Like, if it's economical to make them full-time employees and give them benefits? Because I think the best of both worlds is to give them both options, right? You can be a contractor or a full-time employee, right? I think that's kind of like the best of both worlds, right? You can have an option to become a full-time employee or a just a contractor. But then at the end of the day, I don't think economically they can afford to pay for employees they can pay drivers to be their employees and offer all these benefits, because end of the day, the Uber, they're losing billions of dollars a quarter, and all their drivers are contractors right now. So if you're gonna make them all employees, then one, they lose out on flexibility unless you do the option where you give them like an option to do contractor or employee. But end of the day, I don't think they can afford to pay the benefits. That's just kind of what it is, because right now they're losing money quarterly. So like if you're already losing now and they're contractors, what makes you think you're gonna make money when they're full-time employees? And at the end of the day, it's still a business. So if you're not making money, eventually you're gonna run out of cash to burn. And then by then, no one's gonna have a job. So I think this is a yes. This is a yes to keep them as contractors. I think it's better for both sides.
Yeah. I mean, it's another sticky situation. So I could see the appeal from both sides, but ultimately, if it's not a good business model to lose money, in which they are right now, as contractors, there won't eventually they might go bankrupt, they might go under, and there wouldn't be any jobs for anybody. So keep it the way it is if that's what it means to save the company from going under. And so company's still there, people still working, people still have their jobs whenever however they want to work, and everybody is happy, I guess. But so I see the appeal from both sides, because that's one of the draw-ins for working on an app-based company as well, is whenever you want to work, how long you want to work, and the flexibility of
and,
it.
and it's people forgetting like this kind of like fast food jobs, like it's kind of like it's like a side gig. It shouldn't be like a full-time career. I mean, easier said than done, because like right now there's not a lot of job options out there, so you kind of have to treat it as like your livelihood. I get that, but end of the day, I don't think this is meant for like starting a family off. Like you're working share apps, or like even like fast food restaurants, or low paying jobs. I don't think you're supposed to make a living out of that, or you're not supposed to like live off that and raise a family off that. That's kind of like just kind of not how it works. But sounds like a yes. Sounds like a yes for us. Yeah, all right. I mean, it makes sense. We did a video on this. Check out our Lyft video if you have not. All right. So, oh, dude. Okay, three more. Oh my god. It's a lot of thinking. Dude. It's a lot of thinking. Okay, Proposition 23. Established state requirement for kidney dialysis clinics require on-site medical professional initiative statute. I think this is what my friend talked about. I'm not really sure what this one's about, but we'll find out. Require physician, nurse protection, or physician assistant on site during dialysis treatment. Prohibit clinics from reducing services without state approval. Prohibits clinics from refusing to treat patients based on payment source. Fiscal impact: increase the state and local government costs likely in the low tens of millions of dollars annually. What your vote means? Yes. A yes vote on this measure means chronic dialysis clinic will require to have a doctor on site during all patient treatment hour. A no means chronic dialysis clinic will not require to have a doctor on site during. What the hell? Okay. Pro: combat poor hygiene in dialysis clinic by requiring infection reporting, improve staffing, includes require a doctor in clinic during treatment, stops discrimination based on patient's insurance, apply improvement to all clinic. Cons: American Nurse Association platform patient advocate strongly urged no on 23. Prop 23 will force many community dialysis clinic to shut down who living the lives of 80,000 California patients who needs dialysis to survive. Prop 23 increases healthcare costs by hundreds of millions of dollars, makes a doctor shortage in the ER. Okay, so from what I gather, I think this is like a okay. So before I vote, right? I'm gonna make two assumptions. I'm gonna assume that for the dialysis, you don't need a professional medical to be on site, because it sounds like they currently are doing it without a doctor, and I'm not sure what's like the I guess like the what's like if what would a doctor do for you? And that's like I think if something does goes wrong, you probably would have to take them to like the hospital or something. I think maybe the doctor is more like for like it's like an administrator, right? Make sure you're following the correct procedures and stuff. But it sounds like these clinics are operating right now without a doctor PA or an NP on site, and they're working fine. I guess the need for some higher up to be around in case something goes wrong, but it sounds like they're operating fine as is right now. And I think this sounds like it's kind of saying it wants to protect people who are using these clinics for daily dialysis, but it sounds like it's just like a burden for people who operate these clinics, because they have to hire a doctor, hire an NP, hire someone else to watch over their operation. So I mean, for me, I think it's a no. I don't like restrictions of I don't like how the government is imposing restrictions on how you operate your business unless you really need it, right? But it sounds like people like these clinics are operating without the need of this currently. So I don't see the need to add a extra burden to the cost, because Because like, I mean, what if they can't afford to operate these clinics, so they're just gonna get shut down, and at the end of the day, it's gonna hurt these patients who come to these clinics on a daily for these treatments, right? So, sounds like a no for me. How about you, Calvin?
Yep. No, as well. You know, it seems like they're operating fine without a physician oversight right now. And if a true emergency would happen, they would call 911 anyways and ship them off to a hospital or a big trauma center or something. And, you know, having a doctor oversight would, you know, would increase the costs tremendously for these clinics, because we all know how much doctors cost to operate or make. And if they shut down, all these patients would lose their access to these dialysis, which they do need on a weekly basis. Some people, they go like a couple times a week just to get their blood filtered in order to survive.
Mhm.
So,
All right. Sounds like an easy no. All right, two more, bro. Two more. All right. And I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna split this into two parts. So part one would be like the first half, and then part two would be a second half. Because I know no one's gonna. I think this video is gonna be like, you know, for like 30 to 40 minute long. So I think it makes sense to just split it. I'm gonna split this video in two halves. So, all right, Calvin, this is yours.
All right, 24. Men's consumer privacy laws initiatives. I can't read that word. Permits consumers to prevent businesses from sharing personal information, correct inaccurate personal information, and limit businesses' use of sensitive personal information, including precise geolocation, race, ethnicity, and health information. Establishes California Privacy Protection Agency fiscal impact: increased annual state costs of at least $10 million, but unlikely exceeding low tens of millions of dollars. To enforce expanded consumer privacy laws, some costs would be offset by penalties for violating these laws. If you vote yes, means existing consumer data privacy laws and rights would be expanded. Businesses required to meet privacy requirements would change. A new state agency and State Department of Justice would share responsibility for overseeing and enforcing state consumer privacy laws. If you vote no, businesses would continue to be required to follow existing consumer data privacy laws. Consumer would continue to have existing data privacy rights. State Department of Justice would continue to oversee and enforce these laws. So if you vote yes, arguments vote yes to strengthen privacy rights, make privacy laws stronger, protect kids online, strengthen privacy laws, and hold corporations accountable when they violate your fundamental rights. If you vote no, Prop 24 allows pay for privacy schemes, makes workers wait years to learn what confidential information employers collect on them, and makes it harder to stop tech giants from selling your information. Prop 24 was written behind closed doors with input from social media companies. All right, what do you think?
I'm so fucking confused on this one. Like yes, like yes is, so yes means they're gonna protect you. No means they're gonna screw you over. It's like I don't know what the so like the yes and no it's just like the two spectrums. So what? Actually, Calvin, can you take this one? Like what do you think? What will you vote for? Because I'm still kind of confused.
No, so yes, they will strengthen the current privacy laws. They'll add some more things to it. If you vote no, everything should be the same as it is right now, as to the current privacy law. So
thing like Prop 20, like if the Prop 24 will reduce your privacy rights in California, how does it reduce your privacy rights if it strengthens the privacy laws? That's what I'm confused.
Yeah, I'm not sure. says written behind closed doors. So again, more information would probably be beneficial for us.
I don't know this one. So this is my take. I don't know if this is what this prop is for, but what my take is, I want to increase data security, and I want to limit these big corporations from selling my data. So any laws that prohibits them from like you selling my data without my consent, I am for that law. I don't know if this is that law, but if it is, and I'm gonna vote yes. Of course, like I haven't voted yet, so I'm gonna do more research. But I am for stricter restrictions on companies, who collects their data, because I don't want them selling my data. Because even though my data is probably not worth much, I still don't want them selling my data unless I get a benefit out of it, right? Why would I get no benefit and you get all the benefits for something that I for collecting my data? So I think for this one, I am not too sure what it is, but if it's for strengthening the data privacy and like not giving these corporations the ability to sell my data, I am all for that. And I believe you agree too, right, Calvin?
I agree as well. So not only the big tech giants, maybe small businesses will collect maybe your phone number or maybe a rewards card, the points. They're able to track what you buy, what you spend. How much you spend, and they will sell all the information to the bigger tech companies and things like that. So not only the big tech companies, like smaller businesses, even maybe your local boba shop too can collect your data. So
that's true. I think we're done with this one. I think I'm kind of over it. So
yeah,
let's do the
yes.
Oh fuck!
Simple.
The final goose, the golden goose who laid the egg. Okay, referendum on law that replaces money bail with system based on public safety and flight risk. A yes vote approves, a no vote rejects. Wow, thank you, Captain Obvious. Law replacing money bail with system based on public safety and flight risk. Fiscal impact, increased costs in mid-hundreds of $1 million for a new process for relief jail from prior to trial. Decrease county jail costs possibly in high ends. What your vote means, yes on this measure means no one would pay bail to be released from jail before trial. Instead, people would either be released automatically based on assessed risk of committing another crime or not appearing in court if released. No one should be charged a fee as a conditional of release. A no vote on this measure means some people will continue to pay bail to be released from jail. Okay, you know what? I don't even need to read this. This is a yes for me, because the release being able to pay bail to get released is bullshit, right? Because if you have money, then you can afford to pay the bond and be released. But if you're poor, you're fucking stuck in jail. So I think in our society, right, we want it to be fair. So you should get assessed the same on your flight risk and everything, and be released on that, not be released on a bail system, because that's kind of like another money scheme. That's how all these bail bonds make fucking money, is because they prey on people who the kids got locked up and they don't want to keep the kids in jail. So they want to they prey on these these hardworking Americans, right? Like so to like, hey, I'll lend you money for a bail bond, but it's like a shark loan. So I think it's a fucking yes, resounding yes for me, because I think it should be all fair across the board. You shouldn't have special privilege because you have freaking money. That's fucking bullshit. So it's a yes for me. What's your take, Calvin?
Yeah, yes for me. Again, another nail in the coffin. Case closed. Yes.
Take my back out. I should have read the argument, because I think the argument actually reiterates what I said perfectly. Yes, on 25 replaces money bail with a fairer and safer and less costly process. Currently, if a person can afford to pay bail bond company, they go free until trial. If they can't afford to pay, even if they're innocent, they stay in jail. That's fucking discrimination. Vote yes. I don't even need to read a fucking con, because this fucking con is probably all about money. Money. So my bad, Calvin, for cutting you off, but continue.
Oh, that's it. That's all I gotta say. Yes.
Because... Mic drop. Can I just mic drop that one? Just mic drop.
Yep.
BTS mic drop.
That's it.
All right, yo, guys, this is our first. This is our first video doing this. I'm cutting Calvin off a little bit, but you know what? It's a long video. I'm just gonna cut it short. This is our first time doing this video. I think it's kind of fun. I think this is fucking kind of long, so I'm gonna cut this to 2 parts. But yeah, let us know what you guys if you guys are in California, let us know which proposition like, I mean, it's online, so as anonymous, we don't know who you are. So like what which one would you vote yes on, which one would you vote no on, and why? You know, your reasoning. And if it's different from us, give us your reasoning because we would like to hear also why, and also teach us something, right? Because some of the propositions we're not really too familiar with, we're not really sure what exactly it means. So if you can drop some knowledge on us, that would be greatly appreciative. But like always, like, comment, and subscribe. And Count, do you have anything else to add?
Nope.
All right, man.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Until next video. Later, boys.
Hey.